Hi, I'm that guy here, and welcome to my Elder Scrolls Online beta verdict video. This is where I'm just gonna, go on a little bit of a rant and talk about what I think of the ESO beta after it's been concluded, and, what I think of this as an Elder Scrolls game, and maybe help you decide if you want the game or if you're interested in it. So let's get started off with the character creation. There is great options in the character creation we have not seen before in Elder Scrolls games. There's now, muscular, thin, and weight sliders that just give you the right height, weight, and size, like guts, like, actual physical bulk. You can make a fat guy now. It gives you all those options that you didn't have before in Elder Scrolls character creation. Before, they were just kind of there. You could do a few changes, but a skinny guy had muscles still, a fat guy still had muscles. Like, now you can make an undefined looking person. Another thing is, the races, while looking really nice, everything looks really defined. Like, you have, your Imperials look kind of humanish, your Elves have pointy ears, whatever. They are not Elder Scrolls looking races. Nothing about them screams, this is an Elder Scrolls race. They look kind of generic, like, this is a fantasy race, this is something you'd see in Lord of the Rings. It doesn't seem that different. Orcs look like big buff versions of humans that have a different skin color. Like, there's a lot of skin color changes and maybe a little bit of face height, but not the huge diverse differences that have been seen in a lot of the other Elder Scrolls games. The next thing is the interface. The interface is very good. It looks like a really good Elder Scrolls interface. It reminds me of Skyrim. It has a lot of the elements from the Skyrim interface, so it kind of rips off some of those elements in a good way. And a lot of them work, and there's tons of options to configure the interface, so the bars aren't showing, things show up when you want them to, and it really makes the interface work extremely well for what it's trying to do. As well as it's a better PC interface than what you see on a lot of the other Elder Scrolls games. Skyrim had a huge lack of a PC interface because it was mainly, or not just mainly, but a very console-designed game. It had an interface where you had to kind of scroll through, and mods and whatever fixed the interface to be a lot more PC friendly, which is, lists, items you can hover over and kind of get the value and details on. This has that. It has a really good system. The interface works well for friends and everything else. Like every other MMO, it's all bound to keys, it's all bound to the interface as well, so you can click on it. So it's a very easy to use system. It's a well-made interface. It's really good to see in an Elder Scrolls game. Okay, moving on to the graphics. The graphics aren't, in my opinion, up to the Elder Scrolls kind of previous shine and luster. They kind of are dingy a little bit, and a lot of the models, especially character models in the hands and feet area, are kind of low poly because there are so many. In an MMO, you may be in an area where there are 50, 60 other players just like you being rendered with particle effects and everything else, and it means that if you want the game to run on those lower end PCs, it's not going to be able to look that good. There's not going to be as many systems in place. So it does seem like they've dumbed down the graphics a little bit because it's an MMO, and it looks on par or as good as many of the other MMOs you've probably played before. And it's not bad. It still has lighting effects and everything else. They're not as refined as a lot of other games and single-player experiences because, in my opinion, they're not the focus of the game. But they're there. They're passable graphics. They look very good for the time. They're fine. The next question, though, is this an Elder Scrolls game? Because, in my opinion, it's not really. It's mainly an MMO. The entire game focuses on being an MMO. The world and the quests feel kind of empty. There's a lot of fetch quests, which Skyrim has, don't get me wrong. And, Oblivion had, and Morrowind to some extent had. But, there's still that voice acting and that really well-made world on a lot of the quests, but it feels like the world isn't interactable. It feels like there are so many people doing the same quest as you at the same time, and doing the same thing, that everywhere you go, somebody is doing it before you or at the same time as you. You no longer feel like the real hero of the world. You don't feel like the person that is awesome, the one person to save the world, the Dragonborn, the escaped prisoner that, saves the Empire. You're not that person in this game. You are kind of being told that story, but, you lose the interactability. You can't pick up, you can't mess with NPCs, you can't kill anybody that's not something done on a quest or just a random animal that doesn't matter in a town. So you lose that kind of this is my world feeling, and you get more of a this is a world I'm in feeling. Very much like other MMOs that are out there. And it's good. It feels like an MMO, so if you like MMOs, it's a game for you. For me, Elder Scrolls is single player. This may take place in the universe, but it doesn't feel like it's approaching any of the other storylines that you've seen before. It feels like it's kind of there, it's in the same universe, but not really related, and doesn't have to be canon if you don't want it to be. I'm not sure if it is, but that's just the feeling for me. So, you know, it's an MMO. The game is an MMO. You just feel like another person playing the game. Quests lack that kind of urgency because you're like, well, I've got 35 side quests. I mean, I can't do all of them right now. They're going to take some time. So nothing feels as urgent as it should be. And for me, it's not an Elder Scrolls game. Another part of that is that the game has a very big focus on MMO leveling and quests that do that. So you have a lot of those grindy fetch quests here and there. You also have a really nice and well-acted main quest line and story. It's really good, and the experience is there. It reminds me very much of other games like Star Wars The Old Republic, or even to some extent Guild Wars 2 with its cutscene system, where everything is so well voice-acted, the game is an experience. But for me, that's not conducive to MMO leveling, because yeah, you have a well-acted storyline. Yeah, you have amazing, work and money put into that, but it's not really improving the grindy gameplay. You're still doing that stuff, and you're just getting a cutscene here and there. And it feels like, instead of being that Skyrim experience where the world is kind of an experience to walk through and everything, you still get a bit of that, but it's more or less like I am using the world and the little monsters I see in between each area as a way in between each storyline area. And, well, you can join up with friends and go on quests in a party. There's no real way of actually talking to them besides chat. You'd have to set up Skype or TeamSpeak or whatever. I don't see any voice in the game. No voice over IP options or anything like that. So you can experience the game with a small group of people, which is a huge advantage over other Elder Scrolls games because they are a single-player experience. And because of that, you lose a lot of the Elder Scrolls world, because, if you moved everything around and killed all the NPCs, everybody else's world would be destroyed. So, you can't do that. So it is an MMO, and does have that well-acted storyline that everybody can enjoy, and you can pair up and kind of see it. But it just feels like it has a lot of the main work has been put into the story. And in MMOs, I'm not sure if I really want the story. I skip through most of the quests I can. I do whatever quests I can to level up to get to the end game. And moving on to the end game, I feel like ESO is lacking end game right now. Like, Star Wars The Old Republic, which I brought up before, kind of died and became free-to-play because it didn't really have the end game that other games like WoW have. The dungeons, the raids, the things to do once you've hit the level cap. And the reason why people rush through that storyline to hit the level cap. Once you've played the game, sure, you can replay it to experience the storyline, voice acting, everything again, but you don't really get that the second time. It's not as good. It's not the first experience. You're not really getting into the story, unless you're one of the people that enjoy going back through things. And you're also, in a lot of MMOs, grinding for the end game, and it just feels to me like right now the game's too expensive for what you're getting, because you're getting a storyline, you're getting a game you can play with your friends, but nothing amazing, nothing that really stands out as its own game. Right now, it feels like part of the kind of limitations and general genre that MMOs are. So for me, it's too expensive, and the deciding factor of if I'm going to buy the game is what they do with the money. If they add content, changing events, the sub fees and everything else that you're paying monthly go towards making good DLC and content that you're getting for free, I will very much support the game, and I will see its value, because I have played other games like Guild Wars 2, and I really enjoy that. But once I've gotten through the story, and once I've gotten through the game, I didn't really do anything else, because I'm not the person to sit there and go on 6 hours of raids. I'm not that person. But as an MMO, the game seems pretty good. It seems like a good game if you wanted another game in the Elder Scrolls universe, you love the universe, but you don't like the single-player experience, and you want to get just shoved right in there, then I think this could be the game for you. It might be that game that fills that craving for you. For me, it's not an Elder Scrolls game. It's not single-player. It's not that world you can just screw with, you can just mess around in. It doesn't feel sandboxy like the Elder Scrolls games do, but it may have more polish, it may be a slightly better game, because it doesn't have that sandboxedness. You can't just screw up the game as much as you can in other Elder Scrolls games. So this could be a nice stable game for you to play long term. And only the future will tell, and the release of the game will really help decide if it's worth its value. But right now, too expensive, not enough content, unless your subscription fees go towards making some DLC. So with that, thank you for watching. Please like, favorite, and comment on the video, and subscribe for more videos. Plenty of stuff on the channel. Thanks.